You need to come live. All right, we are theoretically, we have launched, we're out of space dock on the Topic is Trek podcast.
Somebody forgot the oxygen.
Look, our Topic is Trek page has one video, and it's us. We're waiting for Clinton. He's just finishing up the show notes, running a little late, but can't run too late or Facebook won't let us start. So we hit the record. I'm watching Craig choke himself.
Yeah, well, we forgot to take the oxygen with us out of the.
No. We have plenty of provisions. We're a little short on dilithium this week.
Oh, that's not what.
So we thought we'd do a little pre-show banter.
Yeah.
Well, you get going. This is the first time. It's episode 103. We've been doing this for about 4 years, and this is the first chance we've had to do a live stream of our podcast recording. So we decorated the whole studio, the holodeck. Well, we
Yeah.
didn't have a chance to decorate the holodeck yet.
See,
It's still all the yellow lines.
I've actually got a holodeck program running.
Oh, very nice. It looks
Yeah.
just like your house.
Yeah, exactly.
End program.
Yeah, in program. I'm out of here.
If you are watching for the first time, maybe you've never seen this or heard of it before. This is our podcast called The Topic is Trek. I mentioned we started about 4 years ago. It's been an idea that Craig Stepp, who's right over there, and Clinton Alvord, who will be joining us shortly, and I have been discussing for, at least 5 years before we started it. So probably going back to 2010, 11, 12, in that area, we said, we should start a Star Trek podcast. We should start a Star Trek podcast. Never really did. And then we launched one right before Discovery launched, which was really good timing on our part. It's almost like we planned it, but we didn't. And we thought, we'll go through old episodes.
Well,
And
we kind of did, but not coinciding. But
I think we heard rumors that Discovery was coming back, and maybe that was a catalyst for us getting going. So I dressed up in my captain's uniform for the occasion. Craig dressed up in his, whatever. Hey, it's my sister Suzette. She's watching.
Yeah.
Dilithium. It's twice as good as regular lithium.
Man, the prices of dilithium have gone through the roof lately.
Well, that's because of the burn.
That and gasoline.
Oh, wait, the burn doesn't happen for like another 800 years. So
yeah, we're okay. It's like real estate prices, gas prices, grocery prices, dilithium.
If you convert your car to dilithium, then Elon Musk won't be able to touch you. I wonder if his car is out there running on space. The Roadster is running on dilithium.
Yeah.
So the whole catalyst to us doing video is Craig and I also do another podcast called Technorama, and we recently switched streaming services over to a service called StreamYard.com, as inspired by Joe Fiore, Crazy Joe, and just checking to see if Clinton's okay. I see things moving out of the corner of my eye, and I got to read them. So we started up StreamYard, and we said, hey, this is pretty easy, pretty good. It'll do what we need. And we've got this account kind of sitting around 6 days a week. And we said, why don't we also do this? This is also the same account and service that I use for my Saturday night karaoke. So when I'm not in a turbo lift,
yeah, right.
I retrofit the holodeck to be a karaoke club. So this is just leveraging our resources to the fullest. We were trying to stream to YouTube as well, because it's equally as easy to go to YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and many other places at the same time. They take care of all the bandwidth for that. But we didn't get our YouTube account set up in time. Got to give it at least 24 hours. So we're in the purgatory period.
We're already demonetized.
Which is fine, because we don't normally record this show on Tuesday nights. We normally record it on Thursday nights. We said, but that's Thanksgiving this week. We said, what about Wednesday? We said, but that's something else that is on one of our personal calendars. So he said, what about Tuesday night? We can do Tuesday night. Then we only have to review 2 shows instead of 3, 4, 7. I don't know. They're piling up on us right now, making it really hard to watch and take notes.
I'm not going to spoil Clinton's title for the show, but I think it's a missed opportunity, which said, Captain, there's turkeys down here. Live turkeys.
God is my witness. I thought turkeys could fly.
No, I was thinking of, remember the, not Replicators, was it on the animated series? There's real turkeys down here.
I'm not recalling that.
You don't remember that?
No, but if anybody else does, let us know. We are ready to roll. Where's
Star
our
Trek
where's
Restart.
our leader? His cursor's still in the same place on the document. He has been rather static today. He's got everything here we want to read.
There you go.
Oh, wait, no, the cursor did move. It's no longer down by the links, but the links aren't in.
Here you go.
Where'd he
On
go?
Thanksgiving in 2266, James T. Kirk wanted his crew to celebrate the holiday by requesting to the chef that he make their synthetic meatloaf look like turkey. He later was told by the chef that somehow the meatloaf had been replaced by actual turkeys. I'm sorry, it was on Charlie X. I'm sorry, it wasn't on. It was on TOS Charlie X.
Oh, okay. Yes, good old Charlie.
I won't do it again. Please, I'll be good. I won't ever do it again.
Someone was not pleased with him turning it into real turkeys. That reminds me of the episode of MASH where they had a spam lamb.
I think I vaguely remember that.
It looked as bad as it sounds.
Yeah. So we took the shuttle out and flew over Cincinnati and dropped turkeys. We
The shuttle. Yeah, no, consider this our extended scene of flying around the ship. Okay.
Hmm.
This is our version of that in podcast form. We're not
Hey.
recording the actual podcast yet. When we do, you'll hear me count down and click.
Okay, I got some good album art for this show. Then I'll have a shuttle with
A shuttle
turkeys
with
dropping
turkeys?
out.
Craig's in charge of the artwork. We all do a little bit of work on this show.
Yeah,
Clinton
a little bit.
finds the stories, puts the show notes together. I handle the recording and streaming tonight, I guess. And Craig does a lot of the post production. So everybody's got their talents.
Hey, by the way, while we're waiting on
Yes, sir.
Clinton, a friend of mine, reach over and grab it, got me this.
You have a friend other than us?
I do. Imagine that. But
That's
look, he
what, you have 3 friends.
yeah, I got a couple.
If it wasn't November 23rd, I'd be calling April Fools on you.
Yeah, Johnny, you're just calling me turkey. So my friend went to a yard sale and he found this. He asked me if I wanted it. It's actually an alarm clock, but it's a shuttle.
A shuttle alarm clock?
It is an alarm clock. Yeah, here on this side, you can see there's a window for the clock. I don't have any batteries in it. I wasn't really intending on turning it on.
Oh,
I just
he's
wanted to.
backstage. He's backstage. I'm gonna get him to join. Add to
Anyway.
stream. There he is.
There he is.
There we
Oh,
go.
he's in the TOS corridor. They couldn't get you a studio this week?
Nope. They just said, bad here, and in case the ship goes back and forth, you just have to lean this way and that way. So,
All right, Clinton, we're ready for the turkey drop.
alrighty.
Now check.
I swear to God, I thought turkeys could actually live in the void of space.
Oh, that's even better. Clinton, you got to look up at your ceiling and see if there's any pipes up there that says DN.
GNDN. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Does
Goes nowhere, does
nothing, and pretty accurate.
Okay, good. Glad you got that.
I need to up my background game now.
Well, you said the holodeck is just showing you your room that you.
Yeah, see, I got a program running, Clinton.
Ah, very nice, very nice. I can barely see the glitching, but I do see a bit.
Yeah, I conjured up a room with Star Wars in the.
Because the topic is
that's your Moriarty.
Yeah. That's right.
Craig, did you share this? Go to the Topic is Trek page and share.
I think I shared it earlier. Let's see. Let me take a look and see if
you
it did.
Share the video.
I'm gonna go look right now. This show is live now. Yeah, I shared it earlier. You had it scheduled, and
Okay.
I see that it says live now. I'm not gonna click on it to watch it, but yep.
Romulan ale and turkey. You do know Romulan ale has been outlawed.
So,
but everybody in the entire galaxy seems to have a bottle someplace. It's amazing.
It's stashed away in a cargo container. Absolutely.
Yeah, I told Chuck earlier we were going to have meatloaf shaped like turkeys. Oh, you didn't get that one either? Oh,
He's busy.
I'm busy.
His mind is in the show notes still.
cutting and pasting, cutting and pasting.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Well,
All right. We're gonna
Yes.
do over the links this time.
uh,
Just make up a number and some stories. In
Oh,
addition
well-
to that, we have
no, that's
4 links.
we have a lot because I'm going to be filling that in later. I figure
right.
we've got a couple of days for that.
You can fill it in while we read the stories.
Yeah, really.
You got some long text in here, buddy. Thanks.
You'll hear some clacking if I do that. So let's not do that.
Okay. Are we ready to begin?
We are ready.
I'm going to be recording this on the H6, Craig. It has been proven stable worthy and ready to
Yeah.
go.
Well,
And
if it's
maybe
proven
some
stable, then it's better than us already.
That's
So there you
that's
go.
yeah.
the podcast that runs on stable. That's the additive you put in your gasoline so it doesn't turn to crud in the winter.
Sugar?
No, stable.
You put horses in it? What? I'm confused
Yeah.
now.
Stable. Stay.
Sit,
Okay.
Ubu, sit.
That dog never
Are we
sat.
ready?
No, but let's go.
Okay. And recording in 3, 2, 1.
This is The Topic is Trek, episode 103 for Friday, November 26th, 2021. Coming up this episode, honoring some artistic legends. No discovery for you. And Trek is more than just the theme of this show. All that and more right now on The Topic is Trek. I think those were the bullet points from last episode, but let's keep going anyway. Black Friday alert.
Welcome to The Topic is Trek, the podcast that runs on impulse power. Join us for a journey where no show has gone before. If it has to do with Star Trek, there's a good chance we'll talk about it. Sooner or later, because on this show, the topic is Trek. Engage already.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever live stream of The Topic is Trek. If you are watching the live stream, if you're not watching the live stream, then, well, welcome anyway to The Topic is Trek. I'm one of your co-hosts, Clinton, and joining me this episode, as always, beaming in from parts unknown and from somewhere in the galaxy, is Mr. Craig Stepp.
Oh, that's the warp drive.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
Well, no.
Oh.
I had to think about it for a hot second, and no.
We're a couple of days early. I'll give him a pass on that one.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
And as you heard, also joining us is Mr. Chuck Tomasi.
One of my engineers said, "It's a topic is Trek, which in Earth is bad." You got to watch the latest Discovery to get that one, because I wasn't going to say the 4-letter word. That
No.
starts with-
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a note here that says to talk about Larry Nemechek's informal 25th anniversary celebration for First Contact on 11/22.
I didn't see either of your names in the chat as we were chatting last night, so I would expect that you did not know about this. I found out from a coworker with the name, no less, Jim Vanover. And why do you know that name? Well, because Jim Vanover Sr. was on this call. Larry called up a whole bunch of his friends, including Michael and Denise Okuda,
Mhm.
Doug Drexler, John Goodson, Dave Blass, Ben Betts, Jim Vanover, as I mentioned, and John Eves. And they were all having this reminiscing party in celebration of the 25th anniversary of First Contact, which, as far as I could tell, received no other fanfare on November 22nd. So this was rather fun. Based on the amount of chatting that was going on, it felt like a rather small group because it wasn't flying by at 8,000
Right.
Yeah.
messages a second. It was actually readable, digestible, and replyable. And great stories. Took a while for the conversation to warm up, but they went into, well, if we use duct tape and some styrofoam cups for this, it turned out to be that. And they did mention the DNGN thing on the pipes.
Hmm.
Michael Lakuta had a wonderful thing. He's got, he and his wife were both in attendance on the same camera, no
They're
less.
always together.
Yes, and we'll have a story about those 2 in a little bit. So, it was a lot of fun, about an hour long, and, Larry was a very gracious host and facilitator.
Hmm.
Happened all on a Zoom webinar. Unfortunately, he couldn't figure out how to get us to view it in gallery mode.
Ah.
So, we were seeing just a speaker at a time, which meant there were some visuals happening that they could see that we couldn't, even though they were in gallery mode, but it was still a fun time,
Somebody's like, "Hey,
and
can you hold up that model?"
Yeah.
Sure. And
Yeah.
let me tell you about it. And
right,
the
while
Yeah.
guy's
it's
off
switching
camera.
over. Doug Drexler had a lot of stories, man. He was even wearing one of the, red uniforms from the Tantalus colony, with the hand and the dove,
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it was like, nice outfit, and of course, many of them had Star Trek galore stuff in the back, whether it was
Oh yeah.
artwork or models or books or
Right.
pillows, or everybody had their own studios decked out.
Well, if we just had some way for you to have shared that with us,
It was
it'd
very
have been
last
nice.
minute. I didn't know until the very last minute. It's like, "What? Oh, okay, I'll jump on this."
Well, why
Yeah.
don't we just have them recreate it for us, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
let's
it
start
is
over.
recorded and it will be on YouTube, so look up Larry
Oh,
Nemechek.
well, there you go.
Yeah, Trek is he Trekland, or is it, he's got a Facebook page
Dr. Trek,
for
isn't it?
the Trek Fest.
I don't know about the YouTube one, but
Yeah, YouTube, he'll have it. He said, "Give me a day or so, you gotta download it and re-upload." So,
Well,
a
since
lot
I'll
of
be
fun.
putting together the show notes, a little later on, I mean, the links, I can throw that in the links.
I will do my best.
AKA Craig, this is a task for you.
No, I will do that.
Okay.
I still have to put all the news stories that we're not covering tonight into the show notes.
Because we want you to know what we're not covering.
That's
Hey,
right. Wait,
by
what?
the way,
It's sorta like giving you that Christmas list of things you're not getting.
yeah. By the way,
It's a supply chain issue. Never mind.
yeah, right. Supply chain.
The stories are all aboard a cargo ship just off Long Beach.
Something evergreen.
Hey, just throwing this out there, Clinton. The bullet points we just wrote, we put them in there.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
we just wrote those. Those were not dupes.
Yeah.
I said I don't remember writing them. I was gonna get back to doing that, and I went, oh, okay, well,
Well, we thought, okay, maybe he forgot to do it, so we wrote them, and you go, oh, those are from last week. It's like,
We put one of those repair.
well, I
bombs
said
on
I
them.
said I thought they were. I wasn't sure, but I thought they were.
The Great Sphere put them in there.
yeah.
Yes, it knows all. Well, before anything else happens, we should make the next thing happen. I have no idea what that sentence just meant, but we're about to start Subspace Chatter. Of course, however, we cannot actually begin Subspace Chatter until we get the go-ahead from Charlie. So, Charlie, we all set?
You don't need all that subspace chatter.
That's a big yes from Charlie, obviously. That's what I'm going to interpret it now. That means yes. When
No
Charlie
means
says,
yes from Charlie.
from Charlie, just from Charlie. That's exactly what that means.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have a very timely story based on the discussion that we were just having.
Mhm.
Chuck has the first Subspace Chatter news.
Yes. Denise and Michael Lakuta, who I mentioned earlier, veteran scenic artists best known for their contributions to the Star Trek franchise, will receive a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Scenic Title and Graphic Artists Guild at the 26th Annual Art Directors Guild Awards. That's a lot of gilding. The Akutas Award will spotlight their artistic contributions not only to numerous Star Trek films and TV series, but also to many other space-related dramas, also recognizing their collaborations as creative producers for new visual effects, among other accomplishments. In addition to Trek, Michael Akuta has worked on acclaimed TV series including The West Wing, along with such films as Sully and Richard Jewell. Denise Akuta served as a video/computer playback supervisor and was a graphic artist on 7 Star Trek TV series and motion pictures.
Wow.
Additional credits include pilots for Threshold, Star Patrol, The Flash, and The Osiris Chronicles. She recently served as a graphics consultant on Netflix series Space Force with her husband Michael,
Uh-huh.
and she has also written several editions of Star Trek the Star Trek Encyclopedia, excuse me. 2 editions of the Star Trek Chronology, The History of the Future, and On Board the USS Enterprise. The honors will be handed out at the ADG Awards next March. Congratulations to both of them. Very well deserved.
Very nice. Now, in a move you are sure to remember, IDW Publishing has announced a new graphic novel, Star Trek Klingons. The publication set for release for next year will chronicle the legendary life of Kailash, the Unforgettable. The comic book,
That's terrific.
Kailash, the Unforgettable.
He can fire a magic missile.
I mean, yeah. The comic book is the first installment in a series of extra-long one-shot spotlights on the Star Trek franchise's most iconic alien species. The story will be written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, writer-showrunners of the Star Trek Year 5 comic book series. They will be teaming up with artist Timothy Green II to tell the legend of Kailash, the Unforgettable.
Don't know if he says it that way.
No, I don't know either.
No, that was the way that the TV announcer announced him back when he was on that game show on
Kailash. Yeah, he was
Kronos.
and that was the end of the announcer after that.
Yes, pretty much.
And
It's time to play Dialing for Kronos.
anyway, he's also the greatest warrior of the Klingon Empire. I want to get that in there before he kills me.
Exactly.
From the death of his cowardly brother Moroth to the victory at Three Turn Bridge.
He
I
ran
think I remember
away,
that
Sir
one well.
Moroth. Sir Moroth ran away. He was not afraid to die. Oh, praise Sir Moroth.
So while Craig was reading his story there, I picked up from the background here my copy of the Star Trek Encyclopedia by the Okudas.
Nice.
It is it's 2 volumes, this edition of it, and these things are jam-packed with stuff. You can do your workout with these books. They are pretty.
Yeah.
That, folks, is why we went to video right there.
My goodness.
Did you not return them to the library?
I bought these.
Oh,
Ignore that little card in the inside cover. Just ignore
Yeah.
that. completely.
Imagine that book that Tilly checked out 900 years ago.
I know that the fee on that is going to be insane.
Yeah.
All right, but by now you've probably heard the news that Star Trek Discovery did not premiere this week in markets outside of the US and Canada. In a move designed to consolidate the Trek franchise under the Paramount Plus banner, Viacom CBS paid off all Netflix-related financial commitments. As you may recall, Netflix took on international distribution rights for the series back in 2016 as the streamer partnered in funding production of the show. But as a result of this resolution of debt and the agreement with Viacom CBS, all episodes of Star Trek Discovery left Netflix in all international regions the day before Discovery's season 4 premiere. Now that's called timing. The show will not be returning to international territories until 2022 as part of Paramount Plus Global. The UK, Germany, Ireland, Austria, and Switzerland will be among the first markets to stream Discovery on Paramount Plus. Viacom CBS said that as part of an accelerated expansion, they anticipate being in around 45 markets within the next year or so. They're currently in around 20 international markets. And of course, a high-profile brand like Star Trek will lead that charge. Of course, as we have speculated, I think a lot of people in those international markets, when the rug got pulled out from underneath them, they went to alternate means to see the season premiere of
Yeah, of course
Star
that's going to
Trek.
happen.
They flew in on BT Airlines.
Exactly.
Now, what I don't understand is why can't they just flip the switch and make Paramount available wherever?
I think it's a series of deals that they have to go through. One source was talking about the fact that they thought that Paramount Plus was going to be exclusive to Sky customers in the UK. So I think that they're just trying to make all the deals. Now, why they chose to make this deal before they got all those other deals in place, that's a different argument.
Yeah.
Put all your things all set and then leave Netflix. Don't leave them and wait until 2022 to come back.
Yeah, because they're missing an opportunity for all of the fans to be gushing over whatever details about the show, that rather than, okay, now we got to be quiet because we don't want to spoil it for everybody
No, it's
else.
our turn. It's our turn to ruin their internet experience.
Oh, really?
Well,
I think we do
I mean,
plenty.
we do list spoiler alerts when we talk about episodes. We can't really hold off talking about Discovery until 2022, but we do try to release
Do we
one
need
Well,
to, do we need to give them a
spoiler.
I was thinking
That.
more or less on social media in general, but yes.
Yeah. Well, the internet is as the internet is,
stupid is as stupid does.
All right. And take us away to someplace, a happy place, Chuck.
Oh, I'm going to my happy place, a Paramount theme park. It was announced 2 years ago for Kunming, China. It just got a big boost. This week, Chinese authorities announced the project is moving forward with an $8 billion in funding. Unfortunately, they don't have dollars, so they might have a little problem with the exchange. But that will be for a large development that will include a 643-acre Paramount resort. The project is owned, funded, and operated through Chinese institutions with a license from Viacom CBS to use theme assets for Paramount and other properties. The proposed Paramount Park Kunming, wow, that's getting harder to say by the minute, will include 6 themed areas, including a Final Frontier, not Star Trek V movie.
No, please, no.
That's the ride nobody rides. Okay. The Final Frontier area themed around Star Trek with a number of different attractions. The other areas of the park would be Paramount Boulevard, Adventure City, Wonderland, and a Peanuts area, the Charlie Brown character, and a Dinotopia area. With Paramount's exit from the theme park operations business and the closure of the Las Vegas Star Trek The Experience about 13 years ago, the only operating Trek-themed attraction in the world is the Star Trek Operation Enterprise roller coaster at Movie Park, Germany. There's a trivia question for you. Construction of the China Paramount Park has yet to start, but there is a targeted opening date of June 2024.
Which is kind of aggressive.
It is kind of aggressive. 2 years, 2.5 years.
Hey, the theme park near me used to have Paramount used to own it, and we had a Star Trek. Or Klingons that were walking around, and we had all kinds of Star Trek theme rides. For me, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I think they Paramount left, sold that operation of their theme park stuff in 2006, maybe it was. So a little before the experience closed down, but yeah, they had Paramount parks in several cities.
Gary told us to let go of our pain. That's what you do. You go into the Final Frontier section of the park.
Share in our pain. That's why.
Start digging some holes. Great ride.
That's right. Well, moving right along, nothing says Christmas like a new Star Trek ship on your tree, right? This year, the Hallmark.
How much this year? All
right, this year, the Hallmark Keepsake ship is the La Serena from Star Trek Picard. So measuring 5 inches long, the detail on the Kaplan F-17 speed freighter ship is very accurate. That's because Hallmark was able to use the original digital source files created by the Star Trek Picard team.
It's about time they handed over those stereolith files.
Right. So the ornament plays 3 audio clips from Picard featuring the voice of the acclaimed comedy forecast announcer, Sir Patrick Stewart.
My goodness, look at the time.
Thank you, Sir Patrick.
Your ornament will actually say.
It is. It's amazing.
That's right. The ornament has a retail price of $32.99 and is available online through Hallmark Store or in stores that carry the Keepsake ornaments.
Don't forget supply chain issues. You might get it by next Christmas.
And it's weird. Although they have the 3 quotes from Sir Patrick, they're lifted out of the episodes, so you can hear an edit point in one of them. Like the audio quality in this statement changes. It's just like, really, you couldn't have him do these quotes again?
They probably got the voice separated somewhere, in the studio already. It's kind of weird.
It was partially the original track and partially a pickup. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying all of it was just lifted out of the episode itself is like they didn't have him record new audio for this ornament. They just
They
lifted the
held the
audio out of the
ornament up
episode.
they held the ornament up to the TV.
Yeah, they have to press down the button,
Yeah.
hold it. Every single one of them, by the way. So that's why it takes a long time to get them out there.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, real quick, why don't you tell everybody if you're interested to tell a story about how you got Patrick Stewart to do that little clip?
That was fairly straightforward. It was, I believe, an autism charity that was having a promotion. Well, not a promotion, but a fundraising event where you could get people to record various things. A bunch of different celebrities were recording things. And so I had Sir Patrick, you send in the copy and they have them do it. It's funny because it was a long time after I sent in the money before I got the recording, and I kept checking with them. And I have a feeling that Sir Patrick probably was handed mine first, saying, "This guy just won't shut up about getting his audio. Can you just
I
read this,
refuse."
please?"
It's
Yeah.
been 18 months, Patrick.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I don't think I'm being aggressive here.
And it's odd. It's funny because he's telling you to hurry it up.
That's right. It's like, physician, heal thyself.
This up, shall we?
Yeah, let's wrap this up, shall we?
All right.
Hey, by the way, the first time I heard you play that on your show, I was listening. I went, did I just hear Patrick Stewart?
I thought it was one of those people that does really good impersonations.
Yeah. I was like, what?
That is Sir Patrick himself. All right. Well, aside from one very short rendered clip of the Enterprise entering V'ger, we haven't heard anything much from the team working on the remastering of the director's cut of Star Trek: The Motion Picture. But this week, producer David C. Fain posted several photos and a short video of the team, and that was posted over on StarTrek.com. Reviewing the photos, the team over at TrekMovie.com believes that one of the images indicates that this new version of the film may differ somewhat from the original DVD release. Now, we've talked in the past about the fact that they don't necessarily have access to all the files that they used to create all the special effects for that original DVD back in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're having to recreate all the scenes. They might have some of the files, but they have to upscale, well, not upscale, but re-render everything in high definition.
Mm-hmm.
So an image in one of the photos shows a moment during Spock's journey through V'ger. It appears to be an unfinished effect. In the caption accompanying the image, Fain indicates it's not something changed and a little unfinished and new.
Hey, we get 56 extra minutes in this movie.
Yeah, no, let's not do that. That was one of the beauties of the director's cut is that the flyover of over and through V'ger is a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, by the way, I know it is long and it's drawn out, but I do kind of like it. It's relaxing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a new age thing, going. It's kind of like you got to time all the drugs to kick in, especially. Anyway, the newly rendered version of the director's cut is scheduled to debut on Paramount Plus in 2022.
Hey,
Gary's
you know what?
happy. Gary's happy. He says, as I see it, I'm the only viewer tonight. Well, my sister left. Thanks for the private show.
Yeah. You know what we should do? We should do a watch along.
That's not a bad idea. Bad idea.
I've seen somebody doing it online, and you'll probably seen the same guy doing it, but he does them on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube, but the picture is grayed out, and he only plays a little bit of audio just so you can get synced up, and that's it.
Right.
But so he's talking, and I guess watching the chat as you're kind of watching it together. So anyway,
I guess the trick will be if they put commercials in, because some of us have the second tier of Paramount Plus, and some of us, like me,
I upgraded.
Have the legacy no longer offered version of it, which has commercials. So I don't know. I can't recall if they show commercials during the movies on Paramount Plus. I've watched a couple of movies.
I've only seen the little promos at the beginning, but I don't know. Maybe.
So
anyway, we'll work out the logistics. We got till 2022. That's a long ways away.
Yeah, it's 2022 it's amazing how long away that is. He says at the end of November.
That's right.
Well,
Now,
Clinton, is there any news from Vulcan, Alberta, Canada this
well,
time?
well, not really. But last time around, I said that we didn't have any news, and everybody was all, "Oh, just anything." Okay,
Yeah.
here you go. The
Grandma
Vulcan
Clara
County
got
Council held
nothing.
3 days of budget hearings last week.
Whoa, whoa.
The county's 2022 budget looks like a status quo one, and that's not a bad thing. One counselor is quoted as saying, "It seems the decline is over. It's been a lot of years since we've not had to look at cutting funds or reducing services from the budget."
Oh.
And there's even a light at the end of the tunnel. It appears that the tax base will increase for 2023. So
And
that's your update from Vulcan, Alberta, Canada.
You know what? Maybe they can afford the travel to come be on our show.
Maybe, or return the phone call that they promised they were going to.
Just the Zoom call.
First Methodist Church will be having its pancake breakfast on the 4th.
You guys said anything.
Yeah,
Believe me, that's like
what I want. That's
it's
what
like
I want.
positive
Anything.
news out of Vulcan, Alberta,
Elderly
Canada.
woman got a parking ticket.
All right, Charlie, it's time for that favorite part of the show for me. It's when I get to say goodbye, Charlie.
I want to stay. I won't do it again. Please, I'll be good. I won't ever do it again.
That's
don't
what you
believe
said
it.
last time and the time before that.
Fool me 103 times.
Hey, this kind of news from Vulcan, Alberta, Canada reminds me. Makes me think of, like, the Mayberry podcast. Here's what happened this week in Mayberry.
Otis checked himself in again. And
Opie, stop playing with the Klingon boys.
all right. With that said, it's time to head out on our main mission with an appropriate sound effect.
Oh, that one.
Just pressing some buttons.
How not just buttons. I have a system. I'm the Will Wheaton of this soundboard.
Ah,
You got the wrong shirt on.
yeah, I was going to say he's not
You
on lower
don't know.
decks.
You don't know what rank he rose to and on
No,
what
you need
show.
the colored.
If
you need the
Tom
colored
Paris
sweater.
can show up on lower decks, don't count out Will Wheaton.
I wouldn't doubt him showing up.
I'm all down for that. So, matter of fact, on
That should have been one of our predictions.
the Ready Room, he was really hinting strongly that, I would really, really like to, revisit Wesley's character again, on some show. And I'm thinking, okay, there's only certain possibilities that can happen on.
Hey, guess what? He was in it, but we actually deleted it.
That's right.
Oh man, we're
Like
only
the
a few
movie.
weeks- we're only a few weeks away from reviewing our predictions. And
We
we gotta
are.
make more.
We do.
Okay, that's one
Oh.
of mine. Will Wheaton will show up on another show.
No, you can wait.
I'm not
Are
going
you
to
predicting-
remember.
I predict that Chuck is going to predict that. Okay, let's
That's right. And I predict that Clinton's going to predict.
Nobody would have predicted we would have ended up on a video stream.
let us move on to that main mission I spoke earlier thereof. We're going to begin with Prodigy, and yes, it is time to hit the old spoiler alert. Since we said we
Which
would do so.
one? Oh, we'll do this one.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
We're only going to play 2 because I think Craig recorded about 800 of those.
All
Well,
right.
It was one of those things I just kind of let it go, and I figured you just
Came
stop
back
it.
8 hours later.
8 hours of warp core and spoiler alert.
I missed
Um,
Gary's reference. That was Locarno in disguise.
Yeah.
We must have been referring to somebody.
All right. Well, let us move on to the first show. We're going to talk about Star Trek Prodigy. Chuck, why don't you give us some lowdown on
Some lowdown. This is the 5th episode of season 1, entitled Terra Firma, written by Julie Benson and Shauna Benson. I almost said somebody else's name who's really close to that. I've known her for about 40 years. Directed by Alan Wan and Olga Ulanova. Here's your breakdown of the story. After the USS Protostar crashes on the surface of the murder planet, aka Larry, everyone must trek. I see what
See what I did there? Yeah.
10 kilometers across the surface to reach the ship. Meanwhile, hologram Janeway temporarily takes the captain's seat and attempts to stop Larry from consuming the ship. To make matters worse, the Diviner and Dreadnought beam to the surface, intent on retrieving the Federation ship.
All right. So that is our quick synopsis. Now we're going to get into just talking about some of the details of the show. First of all, I want to talk about the actions of what I guess we'll call them the crew of the ship this
Sure,
week.
why not?
They're mostly stranded on the planet, and their mission is to get back to the protostar. And then, of course, we have hologram Janeway on the ship itself. So how do we feel like the crew on the planet trying to get back to the protostar? How did they do this week? How do we view their actions? Is Dal getting any better than he's been?
I think they're still trying. They're in that. What's the different phases of
Denial? Is it
denial?
Oh, the phases of death.
No,
I think he is getting better because he even mentioned, he said, it was my bright idea to follow the stars with a little help. So he's starting to show credit, and he's warming up to Gwyn after blaming her for a couple of things during the show.
Yeah, he blames her twice outright for which I think it is accurate.
Yeah,
that's the reason that they're stuck there. So that is true, but I guess it's a case of, well, do you need to keep pointing it out, and is that helping things any at this stage of the game?
Right.
Here's what I was talking about is the difference. There's 5 stages, and there's forming, storming, norming, performing, and then there's adjourning, but that's a different one. That's a new one, but they threw on there. But I still think they're kind of in that storming to norming phase. They haven't quite gelled yet, so they're still working through obviously a lot of that. Trying to know how each one's going to work together very
He
well.
was that famous American general for Desert Storm, Storm and Norman.
That's what I thought. That's not that you were going there with that.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
He had some management classes last week, so now he thinks he knows buzzwords.
No, those words I've been drilled in my head for years, not just last
dog
week.
ear that for now.
Whatever. Anyway, so I was just saying those are the different phases, and they're still in that storming phase, and they're still working it out because Gwyn obviously they're not working together until later on.
So I got a question for you. Something that really bothered me about this, especially the second time I watched it. Were they were following the sensors? She said, "I'm sending out a tracker."
She had a tricorder, right?
And they're following the tricorder.
Yep.
And then they look up, and the hill is moved.
Yeah.
Now, was the protostar? They said it's just beyond those hills. Was it on the land that was moving also? And if so, then the second theory of following the stars doesn't work. So if they're following the tricorder, why don't they follow the tricorder and not the hill?
Well, I guess the only thing is, if the planet can make you see things that you want to see, perhaps what Zero was seeing on the tricorder was not what was registered, was not actually on the tricorder.
Yeah, they were using landmarks, so the landmark was moving.
No,
right.
but
But she had it had the tricorder saying it's 10 kilometers in direction X
towards that hill.
And as they're walking, things are changing. So I think the reason that, considering the fact they're walking in circles, and if it's following the tricorder, then you have to assume that that's not what is actually on the screen. That the screen is actually helping lead them in this giant circle.
I couldn't resolve that
because it made them see other things previously.
All right. It's a bit of a stretch. They didn't really lead into that, but they I guess if you inferred that, yep, okay. It's supposed to be a kids show. Seemed a little wide of the mark for me.
Well, I like the fact that
I think they hit the kids just demographic just right, and you were left out.
Well, if I'm confused, then a 6-year-old is confused.
I think you're underestimating the 6-year-old. But anyway, the thing I liked about that was the same thing I liked about the stuff with Janeway in this episode, because it was a case of, all right, how do we do this when we have limited access to the tech, or limited access to systems, or limited access to this, that, or the other thing? So at first the team is relying on the tricorder to get back to the ship, and they can no longer rely on the tech. So they use the same thing the people have used for centuries, is to navigate by the stars and make your way back
Right.
to where the ship is. And Janeway is trying to do the same thing, that she doesn't have access. Now, I thought it was weird that she said she doesn't have access to the weapon systems or anything. She only has access to non-essential systems or something like that,
But
which I
she
looked
was
at bizarre.
yeah, and
Why would you do that?
she was shutting down a whole lot of stuff. Well, she wasn't an emergency command hologram like the
No,
doctor
that's true.
was.
That's true. But
So she's a training hologram, but yet she still has access to some basic systems.
right. So she then says, well, I don't have access to all these top level things. So what can I do? And she starts doing those things to try to take care of
What would
Mhm.
the real Janeway do? I'm gonna get a wristband that says that.
yes.
It was a little odd that the hologram was going, what would the real Janeway do? Like she was pondering rather than just being a set of algorithms, doing the right things or
Well,
programs.
that I'm wondering about that because first of all, I had to get in my head that this is a hologram, just like the EMH was a hologram. Because the first thing I thought of is, well, why is hologram Janeway having to press buttons on the captain's chair?
Exactly.
But
Yeah, it should
but
just go.
but the emergency medical hologram would often sit at consoles and do things as well. It's like, well, why does it need to do that? So I think it might just be something built into the programs to make them appear more human and easier to interact with. That's how they
Or
interface with
Or
systems.
or go ahead, Craig.
security to keep the system separate.
Segregation of duties, right. If your hologram was able to interface directly with other key systems, that could be, uh, capitalized on by perhaps somebody who breaks into the hologram routines. So, by keeping them separate,
No, the first
unfortunately.
that's ridiculous. The first thing they would do is they'd access Starfleet records. We know that already.
Yeah, they always download
Always
the
do.
entire database.
I was gonna say, actually, Starfleet just called and they said that their database has been compromised and username and
Uh,
passwords were released.
all right,
Your
great. I got
credit
okay.
your credit
Going to
cards are
LastPass again. All right, here we go.
Yeah, your credit card's been compromised.
Your Federation credit card has been compromised. Oh, great.
oh, my latinum. Darn it.
Ugh.
Yeah, we don't have real money. We have
Okay,
credit
I got
card
a
money.
couple other nits to pick on this one.
Mhm.
Gwen is supposed to be really good at languages. Why did she get the word constipation mixed up with constellation?
Well, what was the word that she got mixed up in the first episode? There's another word that she also
Yeah,
missed,
yet she knows that's called a mek'leth. It's a it's like, what?
which I had a question about. It's like, okay, we have Jenkin Pog knowing it's a Klingon ship,
Mhm.
and we have Gwen knowing that it is a Matleth. And it's like, apparently the Klingons are just all over this quadrant of space because everyone seems to know about them.
I can see
Well-
how Gwen might know. She's studied languages and cultures and whatnot. So that made sense. Jankum, not so much.
Except the Klingons, this could be, see, this is like, it's a kid show, so breathe. But all right, if she knows about the Klingons and the Federation are buddies. But we know that she doesn't know what the Federation is. Well, she does know what the Federation is from her father, at least. That information was kept secret from her, but she knows about Klingons. If she knows about Klingons, how would she not know about the Federation? See, it's kind of
That's
like
a good point.
weird
Yeah.
thing going on there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I see that. Yeah.
There was also a bit of continuity error in the end. Well, a couple of them as they get closer to the ship.
Mhm.
They leave Gwen behind
Yes.
and they take off. And he says, "What part about split up don't you understand?"
Yeah.
And then the diviner shows up. He shows up right at the ship. Oh, and there's Gwen laying a few yards from the ship.
But that's not the ship. He thinks it's the ship. He's not seeing the ship.
That's why he walked up the ramp, and then you see Dahl
Right.
walk
He's
up the ramp.
he's
for
just
real.
going to, he's under
He's
the,
underneath,
he's at the same
getting eaten by the
illusions.
weeds.
Right.
Yep.
He's at the same illusions that they encountered earlier. Yeah. So
That
that
makes
I thought that was
sense.
a great fake out that there's Janeway standing at the entrance ramp.
Yep.
You see
Mhm.
a figure walk up, you go, oh, this is this is just going to be bad news, and it's Dahl. And that's the point where you realize that, oh, the diviner is not seeing the protostar.
They ought to like have glazed over the eyes or something to make them a little more obvious, or when they're under the influence of the planet.
Yeah, red eyes or something.
That's right. Well, speaking of that scene, though, I think that we had questions about whether or not what Gwyn thought about her father and his
Yeah.
motivations.
No
I
more
think
questions.
that there's no more questions at all
That
going
ship
on
has
here.
sailed.
Let's
No
see.
pun intended there.
Me or the ship? Me
Yes.
or the ship? Oh, look what he chose.
The
Yeah.
Which is a
We
very
d- we-
creepy
we
scene for a
discovered-
kid, by the way. Very. I mean, imagine if. I mean, this show does not pull punches when it comes to, oh, we're going to play softball
Yeah.
with kids.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's an abandonment by the father to just leave the kid to die.
Yeah.
among the
Whoa.
thorny weeds.
Yeah.
Hey, kid, I'm going out for a pack of cigarettes.
We discover what the protostar really is.
Yes, it is a protostar.
It's a little baby star.
Oh, a baby star.
Did
Because
you all catch the phrase that Ruck said when they were sort of battling the big giant robot monster? It was real quick. She said something to the effect of, "If you dream backwards, do you wake up from a
oh yeah,
nightmare?"
yeah.
Well, yeah. That was nice.
Yes, we find that there's a gravimetric protostar containment system on the ship that the ship is not really willing to shut down. And it's a good thing it's not willing to shut that down. I can't imagine if you had a protostar just kind of kicking around inside your ship that
Yeah.
things would go well.
So the question is that what the diviner was really after, or did he just want a Starfleet ship? Did he
I-
know there was a protostar aboard?
I don't know. I thought it was very interesting, though, that he got to the ship, or he turned around and he saw the ship, and his word was salvation.
Right. And when they finally
Maybe he
hit
lost it.
the other phrase that I thought was rather interesting that he said was at the end of the show when they fire the engines and Diviner's ship drops out of warp, and he says, "Can we track them?" He says, "No, they're no longer on our maps." And he says, "She's gone."
And you
Did
don't know
that
what
refer to the
she
ship?
means,
The
right?
ship or his daughter? Because
I'm
I'm thinking
assuming
it meant the ship.
I thought that was an interesting phrase because it
Yep.
could be either,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
but the fact that if he feels that strongly about her, or if he's having, I don't know, is he having second thoughts? Because clearly he had a choice he could make. He could do either of those things when he showed up on the planet, and he chose. No one forced him to choose to go to the ship rather than
He
save
said,
her.
"I have no choice."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of think you do, but that's okay.
You chose poorly.
And
But
we
see,
had
towards the end of the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, see now that you've seen that conflict with Gwen, and you saw her and Doll starting to get together and talk things out. I think you're starting to see that gelling I was talking about, where they
Yep.
start working together, and the team's going to start forming or norming. You'll start norming. See,
Then performing
yeah, that's right.
Saturday
enough.
night at the Budokan in Tokyo.
So I had a couple of quotes. Sometimes we pick out quotes. I think the best quotes this episode were from Zero. First of all, I liked when she was just unceremoniously picked up by Doll and used as a flashlight. She said,
That's how I feel about this,
or
but happy
it's
to
it,
help.
yeah, but I'm happy to help. And
Yeah,
then
that's
I
right.
keep saying her, but it's it. Zero trying to communicate with the murder planet, saying perhaps I can ask its name. Nope, it just wants to eat us.
Yeah. Hey, I love it that moment when Murph said,
Yeah. That was the
Great
best.
lines. Murph has the best one-liners.
Absolutely.
right.
The translator just is not working though for some reason. All right. Oh, and I thought it was interesting in light of what we're going to be talking about next, that there's a point where running along away from things, everyone comes up to a cliff that
Yeah.
they have to.
I know.
Jump
we'll
off
get
of.
to the cliff
Right.
in the Discovery episode.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But in this episode, I thought it was interesting that, hey, look, there's a cliff. All right. I guess.
Hi guys, I'm Cliff.
Hey,
One of these days,
Where's Norm?
the show might actually go over the cliff.
Yeah.
our show long ago.
Yeah.
You didn't get the memo? Anyway.
Episode 3.
All right, we need to rate this one, and let's see, what is our rating system this time?
Oh boy.
What do we got here? We've got
1 to 10 murder planets?
one,
Yeah.
1 to 10 Larrys. There we
1
go.
to 10 Larrys.
10 Larrys. Larry!
Larry.
I need to look up to see if that's now indexed on Memory Alpha. Larry,
Probably.
see Murder Planet.
It probably is.
It's
All
a
right.
subtitle on Larry Nemechek's page too.
Let me ask you first, Chuck.
Oh,
what do
there's
you
a
rate this?
question. Was Larry Nemechek even involved in the naming of that planet in some way, shape, or form? Was that a tip of the hat to him?
Well, we could always ask somebody we know.
You could just say, yeah. He's probably got a letter that says something about it.
In a memo dated
Yeah.
June 12th.
Now, if they had named,
1968.
if Ruck had said, "Oh, I wanted to name the planet Aaron," we would have had our sights.
Oh
on
yeah,
Ruck.
that would have just been,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
What am I
giveaway.
rating this thing? I'm glad you cleared up some of those confusions of the 6-year-old on my part, because that boosted my rating a little bit more. Although I think it was very subtle. So I'm going to make this as short as possible. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I enjoyed it from a storyline perspective, but I thought it was just a little too complex for a children's show to follow along.
Interesting.
In parts. Again, the storyline was great. The effects were great. We got a lot of stuff out of it, but
Mhm.
it was missing a few elements for me.
Okay. What about you, Craig?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna up. I can't. You know what? I kept thinking about my reviews from last time because Chuck was calling me out on it, which I did enjoy very much.
Oh,
but
what? The points are meaningless.
But I thought this it was very Star Trekky in the sense that they're on the planet, they're trying to figure out the planet, and it's messing with them, and the terrain's changing. It seemed like a very Star Trek plot or a situation. I thought it was really good. So, I didn't really think of it in the sense of a children's show like Chuck was talking about, but I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Then you saw Janeway in action, and then you saw the Protostar in action.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll give it 8.5.
Did anyone else have a hard time reconciling a young-looking Janeway with an older Janeway's voice?
No.
Mm,
I mean, I'm used to that's the way Kate Mulgrew sounds these days. So
Her voice has changed slightly over the last
Yeah.
25 years.
well,
And
everybody does a little bit.
I know that.
Yeah. So
um,
hey, don't elder shame.
I am the elder.
Yeah, so
And apparently Saru is now too, but we'll get to that in a minute.
we will.
Right.
We will. All right. And I am going to give it I think I'm going to give it an 8.5 as well. I think the one downside for me in the episode was the entire series is up to this point, including this episode, just one episode. If you cut out the beginning and closing
Mhm.
credits, there's no where one episode leaves off, the next one picks up.
Mhm.
And I felt like in this one, it ended very, very, very abruptly. The Protostar takes off, and the Diviner and Dreadnought are left behind, and I expected and a little bit more resolution because we're going to be gone for
More a cliffhanger. I mean, this
So,
wasn't
so
much
you're
of
saying it's like a
cliffhanger
5-episode
considering-
pilot?
Well, I thought it was interesting that I don't know if the entire season is going to be this way, that it is essentially just
Episodic.
one continuous story. I think this is more of a one continuous story than any other Trek has ever been, because you just go from that scene to this scene continuously. So I think I don't mind that. I just minded in this case, not even so much that it was our cliffhanger, more cliffs. Why is there always the cliff? But the fact that it just seemed to come to a halt in a very odd spot.
Mm.
And that's a little downside for me on that, and some other picky things here and there. But so I would go 8.5 on that. Okay. So that's our ratings on that. Your always welcome, dear listener,
Oh,
to give us your ratings as well.
and I'm also going to add. I know I've already stated this, but I think this is a beautifully made show. It looks great.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to our second spoiler alerty type of thing because we're going to talk about Star Trek Discovery. Why don't you give us a little information on that one, Craig?
All right. So this is season 4, episode 1, the Kobayashi Maru, written by Michelle Paradise, Jenny Lemay,
Lamette. Yeah.
and Alex Kurtzman. Directed by
Olatunde
I
Onsunsana.
never can get their first name. Yeah, Olatunde. Anyway, the Discovery has begun its mission to reestablish connections with the world left stranded after the burn. On Kaminar, Saru contemplates his return to Starfleet. Speaking of Starfleet, it welcomes its first incoming class since the burn. However, the tide of good fortune begins to turn when the president of the Federation decides to travel with the crew of the Discovery on a rescue mission to Deep Space Repair Beta 6 and planet what was it?
Qui-Gon.
Quaishan.
Yeah,
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon was destroyed by an unknown force.
Always got to blow up a planet, just the way it goes. Although this one didn't get.
Qui-Gon goes Alderaan.
Yeah. Well, it actually didn't go Alderaan. It's still there, just kind of held
Smoldering
together
Alderaan.
by.
Alderaan.
Yeah. I mean, so you had Vulcan implode on itself into a black hole. Quaishan is there. You just need a whole lot of crazy glue to put it back together again because it's kind of there.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that that the father and son, I'm trying to remember, the Kaim and Leto, do you think that they escaped because Book said get someplace safe?
Yeah, he tried to give him a heads up a little bit.
No.
Okay. Just
Nope.
wondering because we see them very briefly.
I think if they survived, that would take the loss away from Book a little bit. Even though he loses his planet, I understand that. I'm just saying, I think it would. I don't know.
Yeah, you probably. I mean, because think about the fact that he misses it terribly, but he hasn't been back there. And then we get this bit where everyone wears his amulet, and the boy asks, "Where's yours?" Uncle Book, and he says that that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Which apparently is always a story for another time. Anything involving Book is your name. Well, that's a story for another time. Why aren't you wearing an amulet? That's a story for another time.
It's a story for the next spin-off series.
No wonder it's called Book. He's writing a book about the things he's not going to tell anybody.
He's on edition number 2.
Oh, my goodness.
Did anyone else think that opening scene with the Elshane, where they had the misunderstanding?
Star Trek Beyond?
Yes.
I thought it was a combination of Into Darkness.
Yeah, both. They get to a cliff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was two.
There's some
two movies in
callbacks
one.
in there.
Well, technically, they had 2 cliffs. Just a ship was at the side
That's
of one
right.
of them.
So Burnham makes a comment, why is there always a cliff? And that's why I thought it was extra amusing that there was a cliff in the episode of Prodigy as well.
That was funny.
And it's so fortunate that we can fix all the satellites in just a couple of minutes.
Well, that was one of my questions. What I would have rather have seen, because you send out the dots to put the dilithium inside the satellites. Fine. Go ahead and do that. But first of all, how many dots are on that ship? And second, it would have been okay by me if you saw the area immediately over, say, the landing site, that lights up. And then slowly, very slowly, or by the end of it, you see
put in like one can of juice and the whole thing lights up.
Yeah. Oh, they just needed a AAA battery.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it was.
They sent out a bunch of dots, but I mean, they sent them out, and unless those dots have impulse engines in them, seconds later, one on the other side of the planet.
He's going, I didn't get there in time. Someone beat me to it.
I was hoping when she realized that they were having trouble flying, that one of them was going to hit a tree. They never quite did. They just looked like they were having a little difficulty doing the flying thing. But I was waiting for one to go, You know,
Bam.
Yeah.
And all those butterflies on the butterfly wings just kind of
Yeah.
fizzle out.
They say, hey, you're on your own now, pal.
yeah.
I did like the concept though that the magnetic pole had shifted, and so they used the satellites to compensate for that.
Mhm.
I did like
Yeah.
that idea.
Did I miss something last season, in season 3?
Last
Uh,
season on
la
Star
last
Trek
season.
Discovery.
I noticed it in this opener when they do that final flyby in the credits. You see Discovery go by
Mhm.
and the cells are detached.
That
Were
Yeah.
they
was new this
detached last
season.
year?
No,
That's
they
new
weren't
this
detached.
season.
Right. Matter of fact, there were a couple of things. The Discovery changed to Discovery A is there. And also we had some new things. We had this like a bracket that takes dimension and then expands out and kind of
Right.
looks like a representation of a wave of some kind, which might be the gravitational wave. Then we have oscillating lines, which definitely appear to be a representation of a singularity.
Hmm.
And we see a planet destroyed, which I'm assuming is Quajon.
No, there's more coming, I'm sure.
Oh, well, but I've just got a feeling that
Well, all the
the way that one
openers
looked,
are of course these are foreshadowing things in the story. Like
right?
you see the dilithium crystals coming not off of Discovery, but kind of surrounding it. You know, that's what they're doing. They were delivering crystals to everywhere. You know, the
You
first one's
get
free.
dilithium, and you get dilithium, and
The, f-
you get
the
dilithium.
first one's free. You know,
Hopefully,
and
the
then
second one is too. Otherwise, I'm not sure what you're saying about the Federation. But
yeah, and
It's
then
what
like
we
you said,
do.
the ships that got the nacelles and anyway, all the different things. Every episode's been like that.
well, no, every season's been like that. But
Season, excuse me. Yeah.
what they change out varies. Like the captain's chair changed a couple of times. You often have the comm badge, or depending on how you're looking at just the regular badge and the comm badge, change looks.
Yep.
Depending on the season. So yeah, there's always different things. But first time they drilled down to the level of, because the Discovery shows up in a lot of different scenes that they kept the scene, but they had to change the ship, like coming out of that flowering object, or flying by the image of Burnham and all those places. So all
Mhm.
the little places it appears in the credits got updated as well, which I imagine is why they didn't do it for last season.
Right.
They're
Run
probably
out of
deciding
time.
what the ship was going to look like at that point.
I know Clinton probably caught this when they were announcing the new Archer space dock.
What? I didn't.
Can't.
What does that mean? I didn't
What
catch that.
are you saying? There might have been some auditory
Yes,
aspect of that?
the music.
I was ready
Yes.
for somebody to go. It's been a long
No,
time. A guy with
I
a
would have
guitar on
turned
the
off.
side.
I would have said, that's it. I'm not
I
subscribing.
would have hit the
to Paramount
fast forward
Plus.
button
Hey,
4
Hey,
times.
off to the when they show the thing, and off to the side is a guy on a stool, with a guitar.
I'm ready.
Oh, that's-
I'm ready. I'm ready.
that's-
We don't need you, Bob.
Yeah, we got the end theme. We're covered here. No worries.
I thought it was a cool little moment. I also felt like it was, I don't know, a little too fan service. I don't know. It just seems a little too much. I don't know. It seemed weird.
Too much
And-
fanfare?
and the-
Really?
No, too much fan service and
Fan service, yeah.
Oh,
and you
A
feel
little too on the nose kind of
and
thing.
having the Voyager inside there as well. It's like, okay, we're going to encompass as many different franchises as possible in this one shot here. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I actually, instead, I know it's the Voyager in there, but what if it was like the Enterprise instead of, in Archer's dock? I think that would be more appropriate.
the whole thing was wired up with a Cisco network.
Gosh. See what I got to
And-
work here with people,
And Janeway just
We're trying to get as many
stands in
franchises.
the corner sipping some coffee. So there we go.
all the captain said. Facepalm.
Face palm. Yeah.
I mean, that would have been a cool. If you're going to go to the Archer space dock, might as well should have thrown the future Enterprise in there, right?
Well, I think the reason that Voyager is in there though is because the president of the Federation is talking about the fact that Voyager is being fitted with this pathway
Oh, I realize.
drive.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why
No,
it's-
I
that's why it's
realize
there.
that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, it would have been cool if they would have worked that in the story. But what if it was Enterprise they were putting that on? I don't know.
However, it is interesting because I think most people have had a positive reaction to it because,
Mhm.
let's face it, sometimes this show just is a little all over the place in terms of their continuity with the franchise. And we accept that. We go with it. But here's the case where just out and out, we're just going to play Archer's theme.
Yeah.
And I felt like, that's the sort of thing that Lower Decks does on a daily basis. So the fact that Discovery is at least, playing into that somewhat as well, I think it's a good thing.
No, it was fun. I mean, it was fun. I was just stating that I don't know. Just
On a broader
I
observation.
had a problem with that scene with the fact that Starfleet reopens after 125 years and you can muster up like 18 cadets.
Sure, they've been waiting. They put in their application 900 years ago.
Yeah, I've been wanting to join since I was 18. Now I'm 312.
The other observation I made was more of a metaphorical one. Does the burn and then returning to where we have everybody's getting dilithium and coming back together, does that feel like a metaphor for COVID-19?
Well, I think they're going to be making this season kind of have that as a metaphor. I don't know whether that was the original intent or whether that was retrofitted into it because they had, some extra time to work on it while the pandemic was going on. But I think that definitely will have aspects of the pandemic in this.
I was trying to work out the timing because they had to have written those episodes either before or real early in the pandemic. Because when did season 3 air?
I was just looking that up a while ago. It didn't air at the end, toward the end of around this time last year, I think is when it aired.
Okay, so they were probably writing. Well, they were in production probably several months before. It was probably a really close call. I'm sure somebody
It was
jump up and go, a pandemic. Let's work with that. How about we just isolate everybody in the Federation somehow?
Yeah, I was just looking. It was in late 2020.
Yeah.
Have you figured out the uniforms yet?
They released it in October of last year.
Okay,
They started it. Yeah,
that's pretty close. Then I don't know if the writers were. I mean, okay. Have we figured out the uniforms yet? We've got these drab colors. We've got the colorful colors. We've got
they're changing uniforms right and left.
Well, the drab colors were changed.
Was that
the drab colors changed because of problems with interacting with green screens and such, and they still are using some green screens. It's not all done with the AR wall or the R. Anyway, they call it the volume. They call their version. They call the version of the volume the holodeck.
We ended last season with the grays, and then we had
right. So that the gray is the one. The gray is the one that was having the problems.
Okay, but the ceremony they were wearing kind of a drab.
Right, which would be your new version of your dress uniform.
Okay, that was pretty drab dress colors, in my opinion.
Well,
and then they get aboard the ship, and Burnham's wearing the red with the lopsided bottom.
Right, asymmetrical is still the thing.
Oh man, I hope you're not a cadet with OCD.
Could you just?
I'm just taking like scissors here.
You know how long I felt like fixing Troy's dress?
I'm just trying to figure out, what if you had a scant with that kind of thing going? It just wouldn't. I don't know.
Oh, 900 years and we still have a scant.
I think I hear some cosplay coming from you, Clinton.
No.
Clinton in a scant. I'd pay money for that.
I want to see those legs, buddy.
Make sure that when we get up on stage and sit on a panel that there's a cloth around the whole table, please.
Yeah. Hello, Clinton. Cross your legs. Got the scan on.
Nope. Sorry. Forget.
I did like the fact that Adira was rambling like Tilly did when she was an ensign. That was
fun. Exactly. I think, oh, great. The two of them are going over onto the ship. They're probably going to think everyone in Starfleet is insane.
Well, Tilly gave that glance like, I'm a lieutenant now. I used to do that when I was an ensign. Yes, hey, absolutely. Locked and loaded.
It seemed like her confidence feels like it's grown, of course.
Well,
Tilly.
It's grown, but at the same time, there seems to be something up because she's talking to Burnham after the ceremony, and there's something that she wants to be talking to Michael about, but then Michael gets called away, and she says, "Yeah, I know, but this thing," and we never find out what that thing is.
Well, that was she was number one, and then got demoted again. So, I mean, she's gotten
Well,
slapped on the hand.
well, she was the captain of the ship for a bit. I
Yeah.
mean, so yeah. Well, I don't think it's just that. I've got a feeling there's something else up with her, and I think we're going to find out. That's one of the things we're going to be exploring this season. I believe they've talked about the fact that she's somewhat on a journey herself.
Yeah. Well, sure.
This
Yeah.
season. I was wondering, do we feel that the fact that such a big deal was made out of the fact that Admiral Vance's family was here, that we're setting
Mhm.
up his departure?
I don't
I
know.
don't know, but
When she said, "Hey, I'm glad you got reconnected with your family,"
yeah,
he didn't say thank you. He just kind of gave this smile and said, I'll see
maybe
you."
they've had a conversation already, but anyway, I thought it was a nice touch to see when his family, because see all the good that the Discovery has been doing,
Mhm.
by starting to reconnect everybody.
Yeah.
I know, it's just there was something odd about the fact that we see the family.
Mhm.
Now, maybe it was clarifying that scene was clarifying what we had seen before, like who are those people that were with Vance, although it was pretty clear because he'd referenced the family in the first
He's actually
episode.
offering a tour to citizens.
That's right.
And over here, can you see
Over
the
on
Archer
No
space
photographs,
dock?
please. No photographs. No photographs.
Don't forget to exit through the gift shop.
Now, speaking of him walking through there and the ceremony scene, did anyone have any opinions about the use of the AR wall or the holodeck for now? This is our virtual sets that we're using. Did it stand out to anybody? Did nobody notice that those
I
were
did not
virtual
notice.
sets? Or
I did think that when they look from behind Michael, when she was addressing to the cadets,
Mhm.
it did look very digital. The big room when
Which was a huge room with
and
18 people standing in it.
yeah, they're just standing there in the middle. I was like, I actually found myself thinking, uh, I wish we had like smaller rooms like you would have on TNG. They're in a room,
Mhm.
uh, or even in a bay or something. I don't know. I'm just saying, it just seemed a little artificially big
I mean,
and was
I wouldn't
weird.
mind that room if we get a shot sometime in the future that you have addressing the incoming cadets for Starfleet, and it's now gone from 18 to 150, then
Hmm.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
300, then blah blah blah, and you can't fit them in the room anymore, and you've got to move the
Yeah,
ceremony someplace else or
we got to
something
do
like
two
that.
ceremonies and
It's a whole thing, and all the
yeah.
families traveling, and
Uh,
Vance has to give a tour to every single
Multiple
family.
locations. And
Vance,
then they're gonna want food.
the president said, Vance, you got new duties. You need to actually give this tour to all the Starfleet citizens that show up.
And the president doesn't need your permission to tell you you've got to give tours.
So, what about Saru?
What about Saru? Well, I like the fact that he's called the elder because you think about it, he's over 1,000 years old.
Yeah, at first I went,
That's a
"What?"
good point. I didn't catch
Yeah,
that at first. Like, he doesn't have the beard that the elder in the Hollow had.
yeah.
How
I
could
thought
he
the
be
same
that old?
thing. At first I went, "What?" I went, "Wait, wait, wait." He is technically over 1,000 or around 1,000 years old by now.
Right.
Technically,
So
yes, but what if there's some old dude that's sitting there, "I'm older than he
wait,
is.
wait a minute. So that
When
doesn't
were you
necessarily.
born, old man? Huh?
Hey,
When were you born?
I
this,
escaped the culling 14 times."
hey, now that he's 1,000 years old, that doesn't necessarily mean he's acquired wisdom over those years because he skipped over a lot of them
He
to
gave a
get to
nice
where he's at.
speech, though.
He audited about 930 years.
Yeah, that's right. No, it was a nice speech. Yep.
And it was interesting to see how you have the two species on the planet interacting.
Yes.
No, we'll go down to where you guys are. You don't have to come up. We'll go down to where you are. And
Well, actually, his speech, because of the nature of Star Trek, referencing everyday, things, I had the feeling that that was also a reference to maybe the way the United States was acting at the time of
right,
last year.
right, because you have, well, this is our home, but we're part of a much, much, much,
Hmm.
much bigger entity. And so how do we interact with that other galaxy, the whole rest of the universe. How do we,
Right.
we're an island and we need to interact with people.
We stormed Starfleet. I didn't vote for Lara Relic.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from that right now.
Uh,
We never got to see the old president of the Federation because all we
I don't think
we saw Vance and we saw David Cronenberg. I'm gonna just call him David Cronenberg, but
Mhm.
is Kovich. So we never saw the old president of the Federation. I don't know.
Maybe they
Was he
didn't
voted
have-
out because hey, the burn was your fault and look, I'm going to start anew or something? I don't know.
Well, after a while, he's like, I'm not ruling over anybody. I'm just out of here.
Yeah, it's like
There's only 6 stars on this flag. What's to rule?
Yeah, 6 stars. That's
well,
right.
they've increased the amount of worlds by they've almost doubled it at this point over the
Mhm.
course of a year. So that's not too
That'll
bad.
look good on your resume.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Does anybody have any other observations about Kobayashi Maru?
One cannot have all the lives one desires. I want a T-shirt that says that.
Well, I have a question with the title of it, I guess is another comment. So it's Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah.
Has Burnham failed to learn the lesson of the Kobayashi Maru? Because she basically went through the Kobayashi Maru test twice in this episode, but she was able to trick her way out of it.
The president is not Starfleet, knows about the Kobayashi Maru somehow. Goodness knows how.
Well, it's no secret anymore, for crying out loud.
I was going to say, if
everybody
it's still
talks about
to
it
the cadets at this point, they're like,
Hey.
"Where are you living, under a rock?"
I just looked it up on the Memory Alpha. That's what.
That's right.
Now that we got internet back after
Yeah.
the burn.
That's right.
No, I feel like Burnham's answer to both Book and to the president was, yeah, she doesn't quite get it. And I've got a feeling this season is going to say she's going to reach a point where she's going to face the no-win scenario and has to choose. I just have that feeling that this is set up for what her arc is going to be.
Oh, are we going to kill off a major character or two?
I don't know if we're going to kill off a character or not, but there's going to be some situation where she has to choose one or the other. She can't say, oh, I can save everybody and save everything and do everything. And it's probably going to be something rather traumatic.
I'm kind of liking this Kirk attitude she's got, though.
Yeah. I predict that Michael Burnham's going to be the Starfleet president.
You think?
No, not a politician.
Although she did learn the lesson to not like mouth back to the president, because you saw her and Vance exchange a look and he's like, don't. No.
Yeah, she had sort of this eye twitch that went on. It was very subtle.
Yeah.
One more thing at the very ending, Clinton, was that a new ending theme to the show?
It was.
That's what I thought.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have stopped it so quick.
Well, also sometimes it shrinks down and it's just like the next thing begins.
Oh,
yeah,
I know.
Like,
but because there is no next show, you can watch it.
Hey, it's quite Picard.
Didn't we teach you through the Marvel Cinematic Universe to watch everything right to the end of the credits?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, what did I watch? Oh, I went to go see Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I had to stay for the 2.
We usually stay. We stay to the end of the credits usually anyway. I think it's just forced a habit with me when theaters used to be full. I was like, I'm in no rush to get out of here. I'll wait until the credits are. So we always stay and watch. And yeah, with Ghostbusters, like, oh look, the 6 other people in the theater missed this.
Well, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have thought about it for Ghostbusters until I did see a thing. It says the after credits explained. It was in the title. I went, okay, whoa. I'm not going to read it, but that clued me in that there were some after credits. So,
but we don't have any after credits in the episode, just in case people haven't watched Kobayashi Maru yet, and we've spoiled it for you anyway. Don't go looking for something in the end credits. It's the music that's different, but not.
They should have played the Enterprise theme.
That's been stuck in my head for the whole episode. Let's get on with it. What are we using to rate this thing?
What are we using?
Lithium crystals.
For this one? What are we using? The lithium crystals?
Or what were those birds called that Book was
The
checking
dead
out?
birds?
Yeah.
Or the little amulet?
Yeah.
Uh,
Dots.
let's-
How about dots? There you go.
dots. Okay, dots.
Okay.
Because we've got endless supply of dots. All right. Well, I will go
Hey,
first
check
on.
your video froze when you did that. You were like stuck. That's funny.
All right. Well, I will start off so we can go in reverse order. And I'm going to give this one an 8. I felt it had promise. It was a bit all over the board. I think we had a lot of setup for the season in it. I actually liked the first scene because of the fact it was clearly referencing Star Trek Beyond and Star Trek Into Darkness, to have that wink wink nod to the audience about we know what we're doing here type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, things get serious, which is okay, but they seem to be then going at a breakneck pace to try to get everything in, including, we got to destroy the planet by the end of the first episode of the season.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's, you got the space station, all this other stuff going on. There's a lot happening in this one episode. So I think it suffered a bit, and I think it will calm down hopefully after this, but I'm giving it an 8 based on that. So I'm going to go backwards. So Craig, you're next.
I'm also going to give it an 8. Although I should probably give it a little extra points because I think they're also trying hard to call out other people in the bridge crew. Like by name, because like one person you don't have in your grid here is Ensign Christopher, Lieutenant Christopher, whatever that was filling in the communications.
Well, if he's only there for one episode, I didn't put in the guest stars. So
just saying. But yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway, so
I failed.
But see, I picked up on his name pretty easy because they were talking to him and calling him by name. So I'm gonna say 8.5, and I'll give him the half point for starting to make sure everybody's included.
And we even saw Lieutenant Willa for a brief moment. She's the one that comes and gets Burnham. So it's like, oh, she's still there.
Yep.
At headquarters. All right. How about you, Chuck?
I'm going with an 8 as well. Like you said, Clinton, it felt a bit Game of Thrones. Let's see how much we can cram into this one episode.
Yeah.
And but they've done that before. Season 1 felt like that in a few episodes as well. Like, wow, that was all one episode. So it was kind of all over the map. The callbacks were fun, but maybe a little over the top. So I give it an 8.
Okay.
8 dead birds. No, 8 dots.
Dots. Hey, by the way, I will mention one thing, and I know I should have called this out up until now, but Sonequa Martin Green can speak really fast. When she's spewing out technobabble about what they need to do, I'm like, that lady can speak.
Or when she's arguing with the president to save her job.
Like, yeah.
You either kick me out or I got a job to do.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like whenever you listen to a podcast and you tell it to trim the silence.
Nobody ever inhales.
And speed it up just a hair. It's like, yeah.
I listened to double speed with the gaps out.
Yeah.
Maybe she's a robot. Who knows?
Oh.
Is that your prediction?
No, it's not my prediction. All right. Well, with that, we're going to come back from our main mission and a very quick warp speed roundtable. Just got a question for you guys. Yes or no? Do you think that this gravitational distortion is headed for Earth? Because that's usually the thing that happens with these things. Is it headed for Earth?
It was a problem. It wasn't a problem until it started going towards Earth.
That's
we
right.
don't know where it's headed because they said Quajon and the space station weren't even near each other. So we don't. Yeah. Is that a vector that we're tracking now? I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no.
Okay. What do you think, Craig? Is it going to be like every other thing in Star Trek where, there's the rest of the galaxy, but there's Earth. Then that's the thing that everybody wants.
Well, I'm going to say no. I don't think it's the primary reason is I don't think the primary thing is Earth. No.
Okay. Well,
it may be impacted, but I don't think
right. I mean, it just said, is it headed for Earth. Like the galaxy is very
Oh,
big.
headed for Earth. I imagine. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna say no.
Okay. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that Earth will be in peril at some point. And that
Okay.
big old tree at
Oh yeah, the tree.
big old tree is going to be in trouble.
I do
And
have a
then,
theory about this season. If you want to hear it, or should we wait?
Save it for your predictions.
if it's a prediction, so hold on to it. If it doesn't show up in the season by the time we hit predictions, you can do it then. Oh, he's like, I so want to say it. I so
Righto,
want to say it.
I want to say it.
Write it down. Write it down. We're running
Fine.
really long on this one.
Okay, the little podcast angel on this shoulder is telling me to shut up. The other one's telling me to speak. So
No, I say hold on to it because
okay,
again, if it's a prediction, you'll.
it
you'll look
is.
brilliant.
It's something. It came to me while I was watching the show that for the second time I went, okay, they're doing this, and I think this is where it's going. So I think I already know the trajectory of what's going on.
All right. Well, listener, you will find out very soon because we will be coming up on our prediction show very shortly.
In episode 200, I'll reveal my prediction.
And we'll also get to see how we did on our predictions from last year. So that will be fun as well. But for now, it's about time to put some old dilithium in the. We want to take the old dilithium out of those satellites. We're going to recycle that because we can now regenerate that, right? We have the technology that we can redo that. So we can just recycle those dilithium crystals in our warp engine. You can find me, Clinton, at comedyforecast.com, all one word with the number 4. And you can also find me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and MeWe and your roof. Go look on the roof. I'm up there on the roof. So
that's what that noise is.
There.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to. I'm just a little bit of time up there, and then I'll move on to.
That's why Chuck's solar is not working as well as it used to.
Who put the toilet up there?
Yeah.
Nobody. That's the problem. But anyway, who speaks for you guys?
I'll go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
We both volunteered for once.
Yeah.
You can find us at Technorama Podcast. The URL is chuckchat.com/Technorama, or just Google Technorama Podcast. You'll find us on Facebook and everywhere else where you find us. Craig and I also do a live stream on Sunday nights, just like this, only without so much Star Trek stuff around it, but lots of space news and fun stories that we cover and put our own spin on them as well. So look forward to seeing you there. Also, don't forget to follow our Topic is Trek page, because now we have a live stream and you'll want to be notified when that comes out.
We do. We have a live stream. Ooh, that looks. Oh, that's
surprise!
Right. Right now.
Yeah.
Surprise. Hopefully, we can grow our audience next time.
Okay. More twists and turns than Deep Space. It wasn't Deep Space Nine. It was Deep Space something beta. Very confusing.
Beta 6. Deep Space
Beta
Beta 6.
Station 6. The name is too long.
I'm waiting for it to get out of beta.
You got to change the name on this.
Yeah, I was about to say Beta 6. When are they going to release that thing?
All right, hit the theme, boys. If you like the show, please be sure to tell a friend about it and subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear from you. Follow us on Twitter at The Topic is Trek. Visit our Facebook page or visit thetopicistrek.com. Until next time, on behalf of Chuck, Craig, and myself, I'm Clinton, thanking you for listening. And as we always say here on The Topic is Trek, don't put on the red shirt.
Oops.
I listened. See? I listened.
And make sure it's asymmetrical.
Recording is done, but we're still streaming. So we get to say goodbye to these nice people. If anybody's watching later.
Bye, y'all.
Live long and perspire.
Oh, my goodness. Well, take a bath then. I don't know.
Yeah.
Live long and prospect. Live, love, laugh, and pickle.
You'll just go on like this forever.
Yeah. Don't make eye contact. It'll just encourage.
Don't encourage. This talking to a little black circle is really entertaining. All right, everybody. Take care. Till next time. Stay safe. Have fun. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.